Midtown Rotary. Everybody clap. I can hear your enthusiasm from here. Like Laura said, I'm Laura today. My name's David Postic. I'm the president-elect. Laura thought it would be some good hazing for me to get a little bit of practice running meetings in. So that's what we're going to do. And I guess we will start with our Rotarian of the day is Frank. I thought I saw Frank Hinton on. Is Frank here?
Yep, I'm here.
There he is.
Sorry, I had to find my mute button. And I totally forgot about this, so don't have a quote prepared, but
Anything to quote if you've said it.
true. I'm Frank Hinton. I've been a member of the club since about a week after it started meeting McNally's, so been there a while. Past president, currently on the board for the foundation. In my day job, I'm an attorney. I do oil and gas title examination, which means right now I am doing whatever you need me to do. If you have a will you need drafted, or if you have business organization you want to put together, then I can help you with some of that. So let me know. But normally I do mostly oil and gas title examination. It's tedious and boring, but good when it's steady. Yeah, other than that, I live kind of north of Midtown with my wife, Stephanie, some of you know her. And yeah, that's about it.
And Frank, you were what president were you? Like what number?
I was number 5, I believe. So that would have been 2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
Awesome. Can you think of any fun quotes off the top of your head?
I'm so bad at this. I'm always bad at even finding quotes when I have time to look for them. So yeah, I'm just going to pass.
That's okay. Well, thank you, Frank, for sharing. I don't know exactly how we're doing guests. I know that we're going to introduce our speaker here in a little bit. But I guess if you have a guest here, I see that Lee has a guest. Do you want to introduce your guests?
Hi, Abigail.
Hi, Lee. Thanks for having me here tonight.
Do you want to tell us anything about yourself, Abigail?
Gosh, well, I'm from Oklahoma City. I have an arts background. I'm currently a freelance photographer, and I've been working on some film sets before COVID started, but I'm happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Any other guests? I'm trying to flip through everyone. I guess that's it. We'll introduce our speaker here in a couple minutes. Service update. Gus, anything new?
Not really. I'm still trying to get through the course that our governor put forward, the Rotarian governor, Lance, put forward a week and a half ago. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the course. It's a course to be a sort of an assistant. It's like a CNA course actually, but if I finish it, I'll be able to do telemedical counseling of some sort. I'm not sure yet. Everything has been really a CNA course. So it's a good review of a lot of things that we've all picked up, I'm sure, but it takes longer than I expected. They said an 8-hour course, but I think it's, I've already been in it, I think about 8 hours.
Do we know?
We'll see how it goes. So that's a volunteer opportunity. If I do finish it and do any of that, I'll pass on my experience and if anyone else wants to do it. Has anyone else tried that?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. The other thing is it's possible in June that Dead Center may want some help, and especially if they do some in the park films. And so we're still on their list as a possibility for volunteering in June. I think it's about the middle of June. So that's the only thing in the works right now.
That was going to be my question, if that event, if you had any updates on it. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. I know we don't usually do a foundation update, but I know there's been a lot of really cool stuff in the works for our foundation. So Lee, would you and or Tom, if he's on, like to talk a little bit about what's been going on?
Is Tom there? I don't see Tom. So last week I found an opportunity because I'm on the Midtown Association board. Midtown Association was doing a very quickly put together mural in Midtown at 9th and Walker, a double-sided wall, and they were only going to paint the west side of the wall. So I quickly got a hold of our camp committee, and we, you saw the vote that we did on whether or not we wanted to spend the money to do the east side of this wall at 9th and Walker. And over the weekend, we had submissions from artists for a mural on the east side of the wall that will thank service industry individuals. And I think we were going for permitting this morning for a live painting event for this mural on 9th and Walker. So as I get updates, I'll pass them along.
Awesome, thank you so much. Yes, the vote passed, Anthony. So we're moving forward with it. That's exciting. And that is our, now I'm blanking on it. What did we decide CAMP stands for? Community Arts something. It's our committee devoted to public art.
Community Arts Management and Planning Committee.
That's it.
That planning word that gets you every time. Planning.
Yeah. Okay. We will now, I guess, have a Rotary minute. And over the years, like whenever I have heard Rotarians speak or people speak at Rotary events, I always jot down some of the more interesting notes and stories. And I was going through everything that I'd collected, but I still think my favorite Rotary little nugget that I've seen is the new Rotary International vision statement that came out a couple of years ago. This is sort of Rotary International, condensed everything we are into an elevator pitch that we call our vision statement, and it is this. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Beyond just being very nicely worded, I think that is a very important statement to remember, because as we're out there talking to friends and other people about Rotary, it helps to have that elevator pitch you can go to. And so if you're ever looking for an elevator pitch, the Rotary vision statement is a great one. I will post it in the chat of this Zoom session. With that, I would like to introduce our speaker, Caroline Lowery with Oklahoma Humanities. I'll let you introduce a little bit more of your background, Caroline, but just I know that from the Oklahoma Humanities website, Their mission is to strengthen communities by helping Oklahomans learn about the human experience and understand new perspectives, participate in civic life. I've seen them. I feel like you guys are everywhere. I see stuff about you everywhere. But please help me welcome Caroline with your silent claps.
Well, gold star for knowing our mission. Even if you just read it directly from the website, you still get a gold star. I don't know how laid back this group is. I am an over-preparer, so I have like a 20-slide PowerPoint that I prepared for this. If I can just get like a thumbs up or thumbs down on the PowerPoint, I can just go through it if there's a thumbs down.
It's totally up to you. We're pretty laid back.
Okay. Well, I'll share my screen and go through a little bit, and I can just I won't do the whole shebang. I'll just do, if I can get it to come up here. Oh, it's because my Zoom window is on top of my Canva window. So let's just, there we go. So yes, I'm with Oklahoma Humanities. We are a private 501c3, but our main role in Oklahoma is we serve as the state's affiliate for the National Endowment for the Humanities. The National Endowment for the Humanities is a federal funding agency that LBJ started back in the 60s when the National Endowment for the Arts and Humanities was created. And it essentially provides federal funding specifically for arts and culture projects, infrastructure, and organizations. There is a specific division within that federal funding body called the Federal State Partnership Division. And every state through that division has its own state arts council and state humanities council. So we are sort of the sister cultural organization to the Arts Council, and we exist really to engage the public with the specific humanities disciplines like philosophy or history or literature. And our role in Oklahoma has been to not only sustain cultural organizations through our grant-making programs, but also we put on various public programs. We have reading and discussion programs. So that's kind of the broad strokes of who we are. So although we get a federal funding appropriation, we are required to match that at least 1-to-1 with private dollars. And I am happy to announce that Oklahoma almost every year matches about 7-to-1. So we are one of the top in the nation for investing privately to match those federal dollars at the state level. Oh, this is a really cheesy picture of me and my staff. You might know these people. Almost all these people are on Twitter. You might know Chelsea. She's at Chelsea Labar. I'm Cocolo17. I don't know. You might know these people. Moving on. That's our board members having fun at Curiosity Fest. These pictures are so cheesy. I'm sorry. Just a quick recap if you don't know what the humanities are. They do represent a specific set of academic disciplines. So it is really our mission to bridge the gap between those academic disciplines. Think of like a college course you had in classics or history or just the humanities, and bridge that academic to the public gap. So oftentimes that might look like if you go see a film at Tower or at OKC MOA and there's a film discussion afterwards, and one of the guest curators is talking about the film and providing context and interpretation, that would be the work that we do. So we're often alongside the arts, we're just there to interpret it. I like to say if the arts are the what, the pretty painting or the sculpture or the moving performance, the humanities are the why it is important to our society or our history or our culture. This is like a super long tirade about why the humanities are important. Clearly I was writing this under the COVID-19, we can't survive the quarantine without the arts and humanities. So I'm gonna skip that slide because I was definitely having myself a moment. Our work includes, like I mentioned, community grants. We have a reading and discussion program called Let's Talk About It Oklahoma. And this is specifically for rural libraries. It also serves detention centers and prisons, centers of incarceration, and our incarceration alternative centers. So that's a really incredible program that brings the power of discussion and literature to underserved communities. We have a program that we partner with the Smithsonian to every 3 years bring a Smithsonian traveling exhibit to Oklahoma. It's a big flippin' deal and we're super excited about it. And communities are able to catalyze on the Smithsonian brand and really bring a high quality cultural opportunity and capacity building experience to their communities. We have a monthly podcast called Brain Box that is sort of like a histories, mysteries kind of a deal, which people are binging right now because we're all stuck at home. Like, what can I listen to? So you can look at that on our website, okhumanities.org. We also have a free biannual publication called Oklahoma Humanities Magazine, and that focuses on culture, issues, and ideas. And we have made a digital archive of all of our past issues going back to, like, I don't know, 2010 or something, of all of our past issues. So if you're bored, you can get on our website and look at those as well. These are just some stats I'm really proud of. We have really high participation feedback from our community members, reporting that they had increased learning and understanding, but also civic engagement, that experiencing the humanities in your community leads you to then take further action, whether that means voting, volunteering, being service oriented. That statistic just really sort of aligned with the Rotary mission to me. So I just thought this is an area where we overlap, just increasing that civic engagement. We recently received an additional appropriation through the federal government's CARES Act, the Coronavirus Aid something, economic stimulus something. I got that wrong, but you know what it is, the CARES Act. Oklahoma received $481,100 with the mission put upon us by Congress to turn this around as emergency grants to cultural organizations. And our board met on Friday, and I am happy to announce that we were able to distribute 100% of that federal funding. We did not keep a single dollar for administrative costs or overhead. We re-granted out every single penny, and that went statewide to multiple organizations. We're super proud of that. I think we'll be one of the only states to say that we gave away every single penny and didn't keep even a minimal percentage for our overhead expenditures. This is how you can connect with us. I am a Twitter person. I gave up Facebook in 2008 because I'm too much of a creeper, but you can get on Facebook and interact with our staff members who do that. And then feel free to connect with us on Instagram or via our website. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right there. So that's kind of the ballpark of our work that we do. I do want to mention, since you are a volunteer and service-oriented organization, we often have multiple opportunities for community engagement and volunteering. We have a large biannual public event called Curiosity Fest. It was held in 2019. We're not doing it 2020, just amidst everything else. But Curiosity Fest is a day-long festival that engages humanities scholars on sort of quirky topics with the general public. We always have like food trucks. It's downtown. It's kind of a fun day. So we always are looking for volunteers for that, although it will be for 2021. And then also, I just would like to mention that we are in a cycle where we will be needing to fill some board member slots. And I would encourage, if the humanities or the arts and culture speak to you, please go to our website and think about volunteer board member service. It is a really interesting way to serve the statewide arts and culture community. most of the work of our board includes reading our grants that we then give away. So it's a really good opportunity to get to know your local arts and culture organizations, discover their needs, and discover how you can help and make a difference. We are a statewide board, but we are always looking to connect with people. I mean, we are headquartered in Oklahoma City, so we are always looking for Oklahoma City board members, since that's kind of our base of operations. I will also say that our board is kind of charged with serving as the statewide face of the humanities. We partner with a lot of academic organizations. We go to several national conferences and meetings. We go to national Smithsonian trainings and advocacy events in Washington, D.C. And it's just a really good opportunity if you're looking for sort of a bigger picture of the arts and culture sector and how you can make an impact on that. So whereas a smaller organization might be looking at volunteering at an individual community, this is really statewide and more often national humanities advocacy and work. So if that is sparking an interest, our board nominations are available through our website. I'm pretty sure I made that live last week, so it's up there. So you can fill out an online board member application, and I would love to see any of your smiling faces. Kayla says Caroline is the best on Twitter, LOL. It's just cat pictures. That's all it is. And like I sometimes bake. That's it. Okay. That's all I've got. Oh, and Sarah says hi. Hi, Sarah. That's all I've got. I am open to taking questions though. So fire away. I'm watching the chat.
Yeah, how about if you have a question, post it in the side and so we can get to it that way.
Okay, and I see Kayla has a question. What is your background? Thank you, Kayla. So my undergraduate degree is in humanities and history from UCO, go Broncos. And then I got my master's degree in arts administration from OU, Boomer Sooner. So my educational and vocational background is really in public engagement with the humanities. My previous nonprofit experience, I did run a food pantry and a free eye clinic there for a couple years. And I realized that that those kind of direct service organizations were not exactly the best use of my talents and skills. I'm sort of a long-term thinker, and those are very immediate needs that are met. So I started working for Oklahoma Humanities in 2012, and I was named executive director in just last year, 2019. So I'm new-ish. Yes, can I give an example of our grants that were provided through the CARES Act? Yes, so if you go to our website, okhumanities.org/hope grants, you can see a list of all the recipients of those funding. But it was, the focus of the funding was congressionally mandated to be used for general operating support and staff retention for at-risk cultural organizations experiencing financial impact because of COVID-19. So we gave funding, I'll name off the big ones just off the top of my head. We gave out 36 grants, so I'll rattle off a few, but there was the Oklahoma City Museum of Art and the Cowboy, of course, here in Oklahoma City, along with Her Flag, which is the Oklahoma-based arts project celebrating. I know Lee's super pumped about that one, so am I. I love that group of project. There were several historic theaters and organizations, I mean statewide, Wewoka, Miami, Locust Grove, Arcadia, Ardmore, Ponca City, Yukon, of course Tulsa and Oklahoma City were recipients of funding. And each of those individual cultural organizations applied to us for grants of up to $25,000, again for immediate staff retention. Some of those applications, I was honestly pretty devastated to see the current state of affairs in our arts and cultural organizations. Some of them had reported already laying off like 80% of their staff. Some of them reported, you know, they're down to just the executive director and they're working for free from their home. So we saw the ability to be able to really infuse the community and that specific sector with a large portion of funds quickly. So we opened up our grants on April 17th, and we had over $700,000 worth of requests in 48 hours, if that tells you how great and urgent the need is. Just to plug my sister cultural organization, the National Endowment for the Arts also included an appropriation to the State Arts Council for similar grants. They won't be the exact same as ours, since they are a state agency and have some additional state finance requirements to go through. But Kayla can put in the chat, I think they're opening up their grants in June, again, for arts organizations. So really our core arts and culture sector that are experiencing massive turmoil right now. There was a recent survey put out by Americans for the Arts that said 90% of artists have experienced a financial hit because of this. That goes for our humanities scholars as well. A lot of them do their research and travel during the summertime while their academic schedules are lighter. So this has been very devastating financially to the arts and culture sector. And Oklahoma specifically, we're just kind of a weird combination. You know, it's like everything else in Oklahoma. It's like, you know, you see something new that you've never seen ever before every day. So we have a really broad mix of very rural, very small arts and cultural organizations like the, I'm thinking of the Rural Oklahoma Museum of Poetry there in Locust Grove. They were the recipient of a $3,500 emergency funding grant, and that covered like 3 months of salary. I mean, very small cultural organizations, all the way up to someone like the Cowboy or OKC MOA that's budgets are, you know, $6 million a year, $10 million a year. So it's been interesting to kind of see that although we're a varied group and a very diverse group, both geographically dispersed and economically varied, everyone is feeling the hit. I will say, if you are able to support your local arts and cultural organizations, please do so. Follow Cowboy Tim, hashtag the cowboy, and buy a shirt. Go to their museum store, buy something, donate online. We expended all of our funds within 72 hours. So that was $500,000 gone in 72 hours. So the need is great. It's still urgent. Let's see. Okay. Thank you, Kayla. Oklahoma Arts Council will be doing similar grants, but it's not yet. Yeah. So since we're sister cultural organizations, we'll both be responsible for distributing the Oklahoma appropriations for that. If you are in communication with your representatives, it would just be, I think it would be a wise message to include to them that funding for the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Endowment for the Humanities makes a difference, especially in Oklahoma. We're able to provide a $5,000 grant means payroll for 3 months. That's not the same in every other state. A little bit of money goes a longer way here for our cultural organizations. So I appreciate our senators' foresight in including the arts and culture and humanities in the CARES package. And I would hope that if another stimulus package goes through legislation that we would be included again. If that happens, we'll open those grants right back up and redistribute all of those funds statewide. Are there any other questions?
Anything last call?
I'll give one other example of our project-based grants, just because I know a lot of you work or serve with organizations. If you have a humanities-based public program, we do have year-round grant programs that could support that work. Like I mentioned, film discussion, museum exhibits. I mean, the sky's the limit. If you serve on an arts and cultural organization, I'm thinking of Preservation Oklahoma is right down the street from Midtown Rotary. Of course, OKC MOA is a recipient of our grants, usually multiple times a year. But if you are in service of any of these organizations, please let them know that we do have grant funding available. Although our emergency grant funds have been spent down for staff retention and general operating support, we do still have a large sum of money held back for the fall to fund specific projects. So historic sites, for some reason, the only example I can think of right now is the Pawnee Bill Wild West Show and the Wewoka Sorghum Festival. I have no idea why those are in my mind. Those are like, they have nothing to do with Oklahoma City. I think I have sorghum and biscuits on my mind. But if you were in the service of any of those organizations, please let them know about our grant funding opportunities. We are always looking to fund new, enriching, and incredible projects.
Caroline, what's the best thing we can do to stay up to date on what your organization's doing?
Oh, well, you can sign up to be a recipient of our monthly e-newsletter through our website. I would say honestly that, and then Twitter. We're pretty active on Twitter. We put out all of our funding alerts through our e-newsletter. So if you are on that, it's not a listserv, it's sort of in between. If you are on that newsletter, you would at least get the information the first day it went out, as opposed to having to wait to see it in a press release. Lee Morgan, Caroline, tell us about your cookies. Baking cookies. Oh, and Sarah, and scones. Yes, so in a former life, I guess in my entire life, I have been a professional pastry chef. I was the manager up at Prairie Thunder Baking Company. If anyone remembers that Midtown icon, tears of sadness that it's gone. So yes, I still bake all the time. If you want a recipe for scones or cookies, hit me up on Twitter and I will give that recipe to you. Or croissants. I still have the Prairie Thunder croissants recipe for all of those of you in the know. Yeah, I'll give that to you. You had me at scones. Yes, Jessica, we're best friends. Okay, that's all I've got, unless anyone else has any other questions.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This year we're giving, and someone will have to help me with the organization, as a speaker's gift, we are donating money to a local nonprofit, to a local cause, and part of that gift will be in your name. Aaron, can you help me out with the organization?
For this quarter?
Yes.
It's still Quartz Mountain. We have our, are we in fourth quarter?
Hey,
That's our brag boo, you guys. That's brag boo.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about
Sorry, yes. Hello, positive, hello, can y'all hear me?
Positive tomorrows.
Sorry, Positive Tomorrows, yes.
Hey, I love Positive Tomorrows. I've worked with them on numerous projects. So yay, they are near and dear to my heart, educating everyone despite your economic circumstances. So yeah, I am here for Positive Tomorrows.
Right. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us in this odd Rotary meeting format. We try to make do with what we have, and you make it fun. So thank you very much for being here.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and leave the meeting now, if that's okay.
It's not okay. You have to stay.
I'm not gonna stay.
You can go.
I'm just kidding. Okay, thank you. Bye, Lee.
Okay, any announcements? Anybody with announcements?
Yes.
I have an announcement.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, and I could turn it over to Gus. I got word yesterday from the city of Oklahoma City that the artist boot camp that the club was going to help sponsor in May has been canceled, which of course we probably all knew that it would be. But they are going forward with the pre-qualified artist pool, and this is for city of Oklahoma City contracts. So they're going to be looking for mentors, and I've kind of chatted with Gus. I think this could possibly be a service opportunity for us individually through May. I'll post what that what areas that artists might need help with in the chat, and we can maybe work with Gus on scheduling something. Well, not that we need to schedule it, it would all be individually.
I see Lawrence has an announcement.
I do. Aaron and Lisa and I have been in communication. Oh, Lawrence, I'm sorry. Were you on?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Aaron and Lisa and I have been in communication with the Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation. Mary Mellon, their president of the foundation. And so we have a couple of possible district grant opportunities. One at John Marshall High School, and that one has actually their band instruments. Aaron, you want to join in too, and Lisa,
Yes.
but John Marshall is requesting $15,000. We've talked about this before, and I think that was #1 on our list for a long time. Percussion ensemble instruments. And another one that Mary Mellon mentioned and actually was taken off the list and now back on is the Roosevelt Middle School dance mirrors. And I know Laura has interest in that one, right, Laura? And there are other possibilities as well. I brought up the fact that there is one from the class in SAS, our Interact school, and they want to convert a classroom into a working art studio and sort of performance, I think, practice area, and that's a possibility as well. Oh, Aaron's got them all listed already.
That's what I was trying to pull real quick. I was trying to pull them for y'all's review, just kind of a quick glance.
So look on your chat, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was interesting what Mary said, that we asked about, would it be more important to get technology grants to them right now because of everything that's going on with school being out and things like that. And she said the arts are always the first to go. So if we can keep our focus on dance mirrors and instruments and things like that, that it would just be more impactful than ever. So just putting that out there.
Right.
And she was saying other donors, go for the STEM and the other activities, and the arts are left behind as far from the donors. Yep. Good point, Lisa.
Right. So we reviewed all these, and she said the biggest main ones would be that out of the 6 projects we previously got about 4 or 5 months ago to look at for our district grants, Mary was saying that the biggest ones would probably be Roosevelt because they don't have any partners. Same with John Marshall. And the rest are good ones, but those 2 are probably the 2 schools that have the biggest need. And then we also have our class in 1. Looking at John Marshall, it's $15,000. That's a good sized district grant, and something I think our club would be able to do. Roosevelt at $2,400. It might be something our club might be able to do out of pocket. It just depends on whether we want to do. We could go all in on this John Marshall High School one. We could also do 2 or 3 smaller ones. Roosevelt Middle School with the dance mirrors. There's a couple smaller grants, $1,000 or $2,000 each, as well as there's been discussion about Alyssa's sister's philanthropy with the bikes that are done every Thanksgiving, I believe. Wherever we go, there's going to be this need. I told Mary I'd really rather try and go somewhere there's no arts at all, and try and propagate that, because if there's a present program, at least there's some engagement. But if you start something up, that's something that can affect a bunch of people immediately, rather than, just the woodwinds section or just the brass section or just a choir. And I don't think we've done a district grant this size in a bit. It's the $15,000 one. But we want to democratize it and let everyone know kind of what our district grants committee is looking at. Those, the club's monetary commitment would be a third of each of those. And yes, and we can get this in a Google form vote. We just want to make sure everyone's up to date kind of on where this project's at, what the sizes are, and how we need to proceed.
That's a good point, Kayla, on sustainability. And Mary is happy to talk with us. If we have any questions, she's happy to present. She can answer that question. And if there's no plan for sustainability, maybe we take a look at some other things, programs that are already established. But I think it'd be nice for everyone to hear from her and have her even go into more detail with them if we need her to. She was just really open to doing anything, providing any information and jumping on one of these with us.
Again, building some of those partnerships with schools that have no community partnerships at all.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I was thinking it would be great if she could talk to us sometime, and maybe setting her up at a meeting or a separate call would be good. So let's.
We actually invited her to this meeting, but
and
I'll get that contact info to Anya. Hopefully we can have her speak. Our grants are due in 2 weeks, so that's why we're trying to get this going through. I believe she's a Rotarian. Or she's
in the downtown club.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she'd be willing to speak. Do we already have speakers lined up the next couple weeks?
Anya?
I figured so, but
Maybe
sorry,
a special-
I'm muting myself. Yeah.
you could just give an announcement, right?
Yeah, I'm glad to reach out to her and see if we can get some sort of something in there, even if it's just a brief announcement or description.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to hear
Okay.
from her.
Yeah. Okay.
cool. Well, thank you guys for giving us that update. I appreciate all the work you're doing.
Sure.
Any other main announcements? I know one announcement, I know it was in the email, but once again, Jay Sherrill is up for membership, and everybody has the right to haze him before he becomes a member. So be sure to use that opportunity. You'll never get it again.
All right, I have an announcement. Allied Arts Artini, it's been postponed. It was supposed to be originally in the end of March, but now it's gone online auction, and you can bid on the work from 6 to 10 with the hand bid app. Have the link here.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Huh?
I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe we should use online things. Any other announcements?
Are we in person next week?
What's that?
Are we meeting in person next week or still Zoom?
Laura?
I think we'll probably stick with Zoom for now, unless you guys want to. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. I probably wouldn't show up.
Well, I think since they're not, just my personal opinion is since they're not opening bars until the 15th, I know it's technically a restaurant, but we might, just for the sake of appearances, wait till they fully open everything before we consider meeting again together.
We could meet at Scissortail Park and bring beer.
Yeah, but restaurants have to have tables 6 feet apart. So, we're not gonna, there's no way to meet it in our normal location.
We're getting good turnout right now too. So
yeah, we are 23 people. Wow.
I think it doesn't hurt to wait till everything's fully open. Till not like everything in Oklahoma, because New York's gonna take a while, is fully open before we come back together. Just for appearances and safety.
Agreed. So next week will be much like this week.
Awesome. Better safe than sorry. Okay, now we will move on to brag boohoos. Post in the chat if you'd like to give one. I know earlier Sarah said she has a brag boohoo. Sarah, would you like to?
Yeah, yeah. And then I said, David, I don't need to talk, but sure, I would love to. I'm in my car because there's hail and I don't have a garage, so that's fun. That's my boohoo. My brag is that Caroline had all of her books color-coded, which made my heart very happy behind her. So, and Caroline and her team are awesome. I love them. We do a bunch of stuff with them at the museum. So, the end.
Awesome. Marcus?
Also, hi, Abby. Sorry.
I'll do a 5. I'll do $1 for the speaker. $1 for the city of Yukon, because I was able to go get a haircut on Friday, which even though I had to travel from more to Yukon, there was a place called Hair Expressions that opened up, and the ladies were all masked up, and it was kind of like an old lady barbershop, like with perms and stuff. Didn't get a perm, but was able to get a haircut, so that was cool. I was getting pretty, and a beard trim. I was getting pretty out there, looking kind of hippie-ish. So, and then boohoo, just a boohoo that it could tornado tonight. So, but anyways, thanks guys.
Yeah, boohoo for tornadoes. Gus, you're up next.
Well, $1 to our speaker, even though she's not here to see that. $1 to Anya for setting up these Zoom meetings. I really appreciate that. I know I wouldn't be going face to face for a while myself, so I really appreciate it. And just in general, the rest for the club. So put me down for 5.
Thank you. Lee is next.
Hello, I have a brag for Abigail for joining us tonight. Thank you for being here virtually. And for Caroline, it's good for us to know about the humanities and how we're all really, really closely connected to that. And they do great work. And I echo Sarah's comments about there's a lot of great people over there. And my third one is the artist. No, I already talked about that one. There was something else. Oh, Paseo. Paseo is doing First Friday this Friday, and it will be virtual. But if there's anything you can do to support the Paseo merchants, the Paseo artists, the Paseo restaurants, anything, it is First Friday. It's May 1st. So we're working to make it seem like it's, you miss coming out to Paseo on First Friday, and we're going to take a trip down the street and around the district and have videos from some of those merchants and artists. And also Little D Gallery is doing a Plinko game. So if you need to buy a Plinko chip, head on over to her website. And then my fourth one is that her flag is live at 7, sewing on the Arizona stripe if you're on Facebook at 7 live.
That's tonight at 7? Awesome. Okay, Kayla.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Great. I sort of had an arbitrary number for 5, but then Lee was talking and I was like, oh, I can talk about other things. Also, okay, 1, Caroline is very funny on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter, you should follow her. And I said something in the chat about the NEA, and it all seems confusing. So the CARES Act in general is a little confusing. So just disregard what I said because it's not that easy to put in a tiny thing. But the humanities was already able to give money, which is great. Okay, also the Paseo is doing the Facebook Live. And I have watched a few. I think the Plaza did one, and then the House has been doing some too, and they are very fun. And it is sort of, feels really nice because you can see all the comments. And the house does a great job, and they've raised a few $1,000s for servers. So hopefully they can also raise money for the sale. Okay, that's all.
There we go, I'm back. Aaron, it looks like you're up next.
Am I on? Okay, I've been on a lot of them, but I'm just trying to make sure it's live. Dollar to brag on boredom. I've gone through and read, I don't know, tens of thousands of pages of yearbooks and my fraternity's SIG-Up journals. And I've discovered 20 Olympians that we never knew we had before. And now I get to throw that at the national website, and they're letting me co-host an article. So that's kind of cool. Get a little feather in my cap because I've been extremely bored and I got sick of playing video games all day. So there's that. Allison's shaking her head. $1 to Allison because she's awesome. $1 to mentorship. So still, again, I have a small little board. I kind of treat them like my own little board of directors for mentorship and everything. And one of mine that's for philosophy is Dr. Eberly. He's a researcher and now retired doctor out of Eastern Illinois University. Met him through SIG-Up. And he sent us anti-glassware for our wedding. So this is like a 1920s sugar bowl with top and everything. And he sent us a whole set of these for when we got married. And it's very fancy. And I'm having putting sugar and everything in it probably this week so we can have a fancy glassware set. And $1 to the club.
Awesome, thank you. Josh, I know that you posted a comment. Do you want to make any brags or boo-hoos as well?
Yes, I will speak. I will unmute and I will speak. It's great to be back. All of you. If anyone is in marketing, I'm sure that you've been putting out as many fires as I have and blocking and tackling as much as you can. I want to wish everyone like the best of luck maneuvering the rest of the situation forever, however long it lasts. And I want to brag on, my wonderful girlfriend, who I live with, who's sitting like right there, who's had to like deal with me throughout this week and all the like dirty dishes left everywhere and all the nonsense that comes with me. So, hey, sorry. So yeah, that's all I really got. And thank you for not like kicking me out or anything for missing two meetings.
If we kick people out for missing 2 meetings, I don't think we have a club anymore. So you're good.
Okay. Sweet.
Let's see who's up next. Laura, I know you commented. Do you want to give other brags and boos as well?
No, thank you. I'm good. No. I'm not trying to be sassy. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I wasn't calling you out for being sassy, but anyway. Anyone else? Well then I will put myself down for $10. Couple things. First, I got to run the Power Hour meetings before, but this is my first Rotary Club meeting to run, which is fun. So $1 for that. $1 for the speaker. I've been following Caroline on Twitter for a while, and I think that's part of the reason why I feel like I see Oklahoma Humanities stuff everywhere, because she's just everywhere on Twitter. $1 on the club. I have been so surprised at how many people we've had at these. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be because we have a great club, but love that we're still able to stay connected even though we're not able to meet in person. And $1 or just the rest of my money on my brother and sister-in-law have been sending me pictures of my baby nephew. He's over 1 now, but they've been sending pictures like every day because they're at home with him every day. And it's made all of this just a lot more tolerable. I'll probably be posting those on my Instagram at David Postic if you want to, be one of my fans. But anyway, that's all I have for my dollars. I guess if there's no other brag boo-hoos, doesn't look like it, we will unmute ourselves and turn our attention to the four-way test as we always do. Of the things
we think say
Say
or
or
do,
do.
is it
The
true?
First.
Is it fair to all concerned?
All concerned.
Goodwill and better friendships.
Secondly,
Will be beneficial.
third,
All
there's
concerned.
a couple other bullet points in there.
That sounded like some serious satanic backmasking or something right there.
I thought it sounded good.
Wasn't weird at all.
With the heart of a Midtown Rotarian, stay safe. Bye.
Yay!
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.